How's it going, Andrew?
What's going on, Matt?
Not much. Harley Davidson homecoming weekend. Got out on the bike a little bit for a change, so that was good.
How many did you go to both the days?
No, I just went out to Wisconsin Harley Davidson for a little bit last night.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Got some new patches sewn on the vest. Found a new Masonic ring from one of my favorite jewelry guys that are always at these rallies. They actually had a square and compass ring, and I was like, ooh, that was actually kind of cool. So
where is it?
At home.
What the hell?
Well, it conflicts with another ring that I wear size-wise, but it's for when I want to go a little more subtle than all my really big ones.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm excited to see it.
It's a square top with the square and compasses on it, and it's got the sun on one side and the moon on the other.
So, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was nice, simple looking, steel ring. So
Sneaky Masonic find.
Yeah. Well, I walked up to the booth, and the guy working just picked one up and held it out to me. I looked at him, and he's like, well, I could tell you were a Mason. You're wearing a hat that says it. So I'm like, all right, well, that's fair. All right, awesome.
Wearing light, you got to deal with people noticing, so that's good.
Yep. Ran into a couple of brothers in the wild. That was fun, as always. So
the brothers always represent well at the Harley days. You always see at least one or two.
Yep. So it was good. It's definitely good. But what about you? How's your weekend been?
Weekend was good. Very fast. Yesterday, I tried to cook out on my grill. Cooked some cecina, which is like pork that's been pounded out and seasoned like Mexican seasoning. I threw that on the grill, blasted it, and it was really good. Cooked some good food. Friday, I just relaxed. Took it easy. Honestly, this weekend blinked by for me. I swear I just got off work on Friday, and here I am being like, wait, I have to work tomorrow?
Yeah, it went way too fast. It was a really fast weekend. It was like here and gone, and I'm just like, oh, thankfully Olivia's off tomorrow, so I'm going to finish up my work day pretty quick, and then I think we're taking the kiddo to the zoo. So.
Well, there's some, go, especially after your wife had such a long work week to go and go look at some giraffes and stuff.
Right, yeah, go do something fun, zoo, museum, depending on the weather, something.
Yep, and you got the passes for both, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the world's your oyster.
Yeah, exactly. So
that degree we had this week, I want to talk about that too, because that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I think we should, since it kind of incorporates itself with our topic for this week's episode, I think we should talk about that after the intro and then get into what we kind of want to talk about in regards to that.
Okay, let's kick it.
Loosen up your ties and roll up your sleeves. It's time for Fellowship with Matt and Andrew. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin or any other Grand Lodge or any appended body.
So yeah, that Master Mason degree we had on Thursday, that was a great showing. There was a lot of people at that one.
I think that was one of the most special Master Mason degrees I have witnessed and been a part of, and I didn't even have a huge part. It was the first time that I didn't have to play one of the fellow crafts, so I was just observing, and I was like, this is awesome.
Right.
And we had lots of visitors. I was counting my cake slices. I was like, oh my God, I hope I brought enough cake. I didn't realize we were going to have like 47 people, 48 people. And it was one thing that stuck with me as I was observing is we had a very diverse team working the degree.
Yep.
We had Pat Chokla coming in. He's a member of our lodge through the Lafayette merger, but he's also a member of many lodges.
Yep.
And he was playing a part for us, which he is, I would say, renowned at doing.
Oh, yeah.
Which was awesome. We had a couple of brothers from Lafayette, formerly that are members of Lake, coming to help us. We had help from a member of South Shore. So for the listeners,
Two members of South Shore,
yep. For the listeners, summer masonry can be challenging for degrees because a lot of people are doing stuff. So it's like in the fall and winter, scheduling's a lot easier.
Yep. Those parts that they came in and did would have normally been filled internally for the most part, but we needed a little assistance. And, that just speaks to the willingness of the craft to come out and help when a lodge finds themselves in that situation, which is great. It's great to see, and I really appreciate those brothers coming in and filling in parts.
And with those brothers coming in, we somehow, I swear, I would describe it as we had compiled an all-star cast.
It was a really good cast.
It was unforgettable. And so one thing I kind of wanted to talk about today is we've been, through the last 4 or 5-ish years, been developing relationships with nearby lodges. And I would actually give that credit to our brethren at South Shore, who originally came and offered the olive branch isn't the right word, but started building relationships with us. Yep. And they would start coming and saying, hey, I got a degree. I'm looking for some help. Would you guys have somebody available? And we'd say, sure. Yep. And suddenly we would need a part. We'd call over to them and say, hey, guys, I know you guys have a good guy who can do this lecture. Can we borrow one? Yes.
Right.
And so what I want to talk about today is how important it is as a lodge not to sit on your island, quoting worshipful brother Adam Rigdon, who we were listening to last week, but to start sailing around. And then you said...
Well, and this goes back to something, a few people have heard me say this. Adam had said that we're not, that every lodge is an island, but we have boats, right? And I agree with him there. And I wish I would have been quicker witted the first time he said that on the podcast, because literally like 2 hours afterwards I went, but we can build bridges.
Yeah.
And then we don't need boats.
So I want to talk about the importance of starting with your boat to go visit, and then when you find lodges near you, to start building bridges so that your lodge is never acting on its own, that they have friends in nearby lodges. Because once a bridge is built, we had South Shore coming and helping us out with this degree. They have an MM coming up next month, and they have a handful of us going out there. Yep. So, I would like to set a challenge to all the brethren listening for your lodge. Identify 2 lodges near you and build a bridge and start using that, because I have found this not only to be one of the most rewarding parts of Masonry, having these connections between the lodges, but also some of the most helpful.
Well, and I've said it once, I'll say it again, I'll probably never stop saying it. This whole thing works when we work together. There's no reason for lodges to be directly competing with each other. If we all want to succeed, we need to all help lift each other up. And that means assisting and building those bridges and getting along and developing these relationships, so that if Lodge A needs help with a degree, Lodge B or C is available to help them with it. And there's no judgment, there's no fault. There's just, okay, we're going to go over there and help them get this degree done because they need the help. Or Lodge D is putting on a large event and needs a couple more people to help staff it, right? Like, they can reach out to another lodge and even do that. Or, if you build the relationships far enough, you can end up at a point where, you go, hey, Andrew does a really good job with social media for Lake Lodge. I'm going to reach out to Andrew and pick his brain and see how our social media can be better for our lodge, and what he's doing that's working and what he's done that hasn't worked, and etc. Right? And so if you build those bridges, everybody can become more successful.
And, we've been talking in the last couple of episodes about lodge unity and inter-lodge unity. And it's kind of been a theme that in the last few episodes we've been kind of, talking about quite a bit, because I think it's important. And what's important about it is that we are, like I'm saying, we're not alone. And I feel like sometimes lodges feel like it is shameful to ask for help.
Right.
And it's not. And it gets to a point where they wait long enough until it becomes a big problem, and then it's a scramble, it's a panic. Everyone is having a bad day. But if you start to build those relationships with the closest lodges that you get along with, it is to both of their benefits. So they might help you one day, but you might help them the next.
Right.
And is there anything more brotherly than that?
Right. No, there isn't. I mean, that's kind of the part of the foundation that this whole thing's built on. And, to take that a step farther, if you want to see more attendance at your events, well, you better start going to other people's events too, because it is a quid pro quo thing. You can't be like, I want everybody to come to my event and then not show up at anybody else's ever.
Yep. And that's been something that traditionally our lodge, I can admit, we've been bad at. And during your year, you've been trying to push, saying, we're going to start going out and visiting more lodges. And now we're getting more visitors too, just by the point that you're saying is, if you visit and make friendships with other brothers from other lodges, they might be like, I'm bored this weekend. I want to go see my friend. And then they go and visit you just to hang out and say hi. And then, that really, cements the brotherly love between the lodges. And if you think of it as like a macro and microcosm dealio, you want all of your members of your lodge to be cemented well, right? Friends.
Yep.
Then you have your lodge. What is your lodge? What is the individual lodge? Well, an individual lodge is surrounded by other lodges. those should be cemented too.
Right.
And that goes up to the Grand Lodge. Grand Lodges should be cementing with other Grand Lodges and building closer bonds. And you'll see that even at the Grand Lodge level at Cogmana and their very conferences where they are picking each other's brains.
Yep.
What are you doing in your state? Maybe I could do that in my state. And I think we need to start thinking about it like that and saying, yes, we need to do it here. But when you are in a leadership position of a lodge, you need to start thinking, how is your lodge interacting and cementing brotherly love with the neighboring lodges? And that's so important because I think that's where we get the strong foundation that we always, we like to brag about in our ritual. I think that's how you create.
Right. No, I would 100% agree. And, you're going to run into the issue. Look, not everybody's going to like everybody they meet, right? And that's not what we're telling anybody they have to do, but we all are brothers. So at the end of the day, we don't really have a choice but to love each other. You don't have to like me, but you got to love me. But that's the key. The key to the whole thing, and the key to being successful is to help each other out. Nobody can do this on their own, right? Like the biggest, strongest lodge still needs help from time to time. The smallest lodge needs help. Like we all need help at some point, and there's nothing shameful about reaching out and getting help. There's nothing saying that you shouldn't do that. Like, why aren't we developing these relationships? Why aren't we helping each other succeed? That even as my goal, and one of my goals in the East this year was to see other people in the line succeed. And I want to see other lodges succeed. And if that means they need to call me to help find them a replacement for a part in a degree, okay, call me. But let's help each other do all this stuff and be successful.
And by doing so, you can create these all-star moments of a very beautiful and inspiring situation for the new people becoming brethren and joining our lodge by, taking the pride out of it and saying what's best for this petitioner, what's best for this fellow craft becoming a master mason. And if the best thing is saying, hey, I could either make you wait 6 more months for your degree just because I can't staff it, or I can call 2 guys from my friends that I've made over in these lodges, and they're good at what they do, and we can have a beautiful moment of showing the unity of brotherhood.
Yeah. when you're sitting there and you're receiving your Master Mason degree at Lake Lodge, and you got the lake officers, for the most part, doing a good majority of it, right? But then you fill in a guy from Wauwatosa, a guy from South Shore, a guy from, all over the place, and people who excel in those roles, people who are either ritualists or proficiency men or, former district lecturers, and you have these guys that are just awesome at what they do. You really can create just an amazing degree experience. And that entire team did a great job that night, except for me. So
you did good. You just got caught up in the I'm doing my obligation, I miss a spoke, and then suddenly you're like, oh my God, now it's going down there from here.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens to the best of them. I've seen that happen to ritualists where if you just catch a thing in the middle of an obligation, you're like, oh my God, there's so much left and I'm losing it.
Yeah. But it was a little bit of an off night for me. I'll admit that. But yeah, the whole thing in its entirety was stellar. That was one of the better Master Mason degrees I've had the pleasure of being part of. So.
Yep, me too. And that could only be created because of lodge unity.
Right.
And building bridges, taking the boat, finding a lodge you like, and then making a bridge so you guys can both cross back and forth to one another.
Yep.
And I think, I don't think that's a hard goal to set to our listeners to go make friends with 2 lodges with your lodge. I think that's achievable, and I think it's something you could do before the end of the year pretty easily.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think it's something that we've already started doing, at least in District 12, with all the worshipful masters having had breakfast together back in January, and the majority of us having gotten together for a barbecue a couple of weeks ago. I think that's something that we're already striving to do, and something we're working towards. It's not going to happen overnight, right? This is a somewhat of a building project, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is a building project. You're trying to build bridges. So, and bridges don't necessarily always get built quickly. So, be patient, but work on it. Actively work on developing relationships with other lodges, and then, you guys can help each other be successful, right?
Yeah, I just think, let's let brotherly love prevail. You know what I mean? Send her.
Right.
Let's get out there. So, to our listeners, the challenge is the Time for Fellowship Challenge, which is probably a challenge you've heard from other things too, but you're going to hear it here too. The time for the TFF Challenge. I challenge you to make your lodge go out and find 2 lodges within the length of your cable toes nearby, enough that you can actually help each other. Go visit them and start building a bridge and start helping one another, because I think you're going to find that it is so exceedingly rewarding to have like sister lodges or whatever you want to call them, just another lodge that has your back. It is that warm, cuddly feeling we only can describe in Freemasonry, knowing that not only do your brothers have your back, your neighboring brothers all around the area also have your back, and your lodge's back. Is a great feeling. And yeah, that's what I challenge you to. That has been challenged.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and it's a great challenge. And if guys actually take it seriously, then I expect to see a lot more good work going on. Like it would be awesome. Who are we though? We're just 2 guys who have a podcast.
We're just 2 guys that we force our ways into your ears.
Right, exactly. Speaking of forcing our ways into your ears. Coming up on the Monday after this episode releases, right? August 5th is, I believe, the date for that, if I'm correct.
Yep.
August 5th. So the Monday following the release of this episode, make sure to tune into the Third Degree Masonic podcast. They're a bunch of really good guys, really good brothers out of Ohio who asked Andrew and I to be guests on their show. So we got to be in the hot seat for a change.
Yep. And no spoilers, but we thought this episode would be like an hour, and I think we went an hour and a half because they're just fun guys to talk to. We were chatting it up. We were going down rabbit holes. They have a great podcast. I'd say it has a similar atmosphere to ours, where it's very curious about Ohio Masonry. It's curious about the living Masonic experience, and if you like listening to us, you'll 100% like listening to them. But we had an awesome time chatting with those guys, and you guys definitely should check it out, because it was honestly a hoot. And we went so far that we're running late for this own episode we're doing right now, because we're just enjoying talking to them so much. So.
Yeah, no, it was an excellent experience, and look forward to in the future, once scheduling works out, that we'll have them on over here so you guys can get
we'll put them in the hot seat.
Right, we'll put them in the hot seat, and you guys can hear a little bit more about Ohio Freemasonry and their podcast, and maybe go check it out. So definitely give them a listen, at least to hear an extra dose of Matt and Andrew, and then fall in love with their podcast and keep listening to it.
Speaking of unity, now look at a little unity between states, another bridge built.
Well, unity between Masonic podcasts, which I think is huge, and I think that would be a fun community to develop as well.
Pod unity.
Yeah.
Podity. No, that sounds weird.
yeah. Let's not do that one. Sometimes you hit the mark right in the bullseye. Other times you're 3 feet high and left.
we got some sweet podity.
Nope. I refuse to go with that one. All right. Well, I think that can wrap up today's episode. We'll keep it nice and short because Andrew and I both have kids to get back to. So.
Yep. All right. It's time for some news and events. So the news story I want to bring to you guys today is a great example about how Masons are finding unique ways to get out into the community. So... So, Freemasons from 4 southwestern Wisconsin lodges banded together this month to do a grill out. So they were grilling burgers and brats for the Lafayette County Fair. This was a great event and brought the eyes of the public onto Masonry in a lot of ways, and they were able to provide some yummy food to the fair goers. The sales were heavy. They're saying they were super busy the entire evening, and the brothers had a great time raising money and awareness for our great causes.
Excellent.
Good job, brother.
Nice work, gentlemen. All right, on to events. On August 3rd, Widow's Sons has their 4th annual charity ride. Proceeds go to the Grand Master's Appeal. I know you can find flyers for it on social media, and there should be additional information in the Wisconsin Masonic Journal probably. So go ahead and look for that. That'll tell you where to sign up and costs and everything else. Also on August 3rd is Masons Go to the Fair. Lake Lodge 189 and the Triple I Jolly Badgers are all going to a attend the Bristol Renaissance Fair. So it's kind of a show up and have a good time and run into brothers sort of event. We'll probably all meet at the entrance right at the opening of the grounds. And you can buy your tickets from Bristol's website or slightly discounted at Menards.
And just as a good point here, so even though this is an event that we are partnering from Lake Lodge with the III Pirates, the Jolly Badgers, this isn't a event that's limited to only our groups. This is open to every Mason
and their families and friends.
Yep. This is just a good, basically all we've done is set a date and saying, let's pick this date and let's get as many Masons to have a fun time at the fair. And you know what? Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, we're going, and you should too, so come on down, and we'd love to see you guys. And if you are later in the day coming in, you can even email us at Time for Fellowship, and I'll keep an eye on that. If you're trying to find us in the fairgrounds, we can always keep you in the loop, or you can always reach out via the regular channels to either anyone you know at Lake Lodge or the Jolly Badgers, and we can help you get connected with us while we enjoy the fair.
Exactly. And, we did pick that weekend because it is the pirate theme weekend, so if you got some pirate wear, go ahead, throw it on to come down to the fair.
I bought a full pirate costume, dude.
Jeez. We might have to take the lav mics with us and do a little recording while we're walking around the fair. That could be a cool episode, actually.
As I'm yarring at people.
All right, moving on. August 7th through the 10th is the Midwest Shrine Association 2024 Summer Session, hosted by Zor Shriners in La Crosse. On August 8th, Columbus Lodge number 75 is doing Pete Lee Live at Kestrel Ridge Golf Club. It's $20 a person, it seems like.
Pete Lee's a comedian.
Ah, okay, right on. Always fun to have a comedian do some stand-up. August 15th, North Star Lodge number 187 is doing the annual Oxcart Days street dance from 4:30 to 10 p.m. And that is in Star Prairie. I don't think I've ever heard of Star Prairie.
Hopefully it's not a typo, but yeah, look for the Star Prairie.
Huh, interesting. All right, August 16th to 17th, Oshkosh Lodge number 27 is celebrating 175 years of Oshkosh Freemasonry and 100 years of their building the Oshkosh Masonic Center. Magic on the menu. And then August 16th, or wait, that is August 16th. Oh, you got this written all weird here.
I just took it right from the journal. So basically, they have Magic on the menu August 16th, and on August 17th, they have the actual formal event for the 175th and the 100 years.
Gotcha. That would have been really fun to go to, unfortunately. And fortunately, I'm going to be in Tennessee sitting in a cave watching a Master Mason degree that day. So
They'll forgive you for that.
Right.
And you can find more information on that at OshkoshFreemasons.com/celebration.
Right. Hope you guys have a great time up there with that. It sounds like it'll be a lot of fun.
Last couple events we got on the list here is August 25th. Oregon Lodge number 151 is doing a first responders celebration. So this is going to be from 2:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It's going to be in Spring Street, on Spring Street in Oregon. This is a community-based event celebrating Oregon's fire and EMS district, which has been in service for 130 years. It's going to be a great event. You can bring your family and you can show your appreciation for the first responder. On August 29th, Lake Lodge 99, that's us, is doing a Lux Golf social event. This is cool if you never played Lux Golf before. You basically imagine kind of like bowling where you're in like a lane, but you're just hitting balls as hard as you can, and you don't have to be good at golf. It's just a fun time. There's food, drinks, you can hang out. It's a good fellowship opportunity. For more information on that, please reach out to Brother Ethan Rosenlund by August 19th to RSVP. You can find this information on our socials. If you go to Lake Lodge on Facebook, we'll have that information available there.
And this event is open to friends and family as well. It's basically going to be 6 people in a bay and for 2 hours of hitting golf balls. And you don't have to be good at golf to come. I'm going, and I haven't swung a golf club in about 20 years. So if you want to watch something really entertaining, come watch me try to swing a golf club again. I was never good at it to begin with, so 20 years later, I'm sure I'll be struggling.
Maybe you're natural and I come back.
No.
All right. The last event we got on our list here that I'm going to bring to your guys' attention is on September 5th. So it's a little far out, but it's worth marking on your calendar now. Lake Masonic Center, which is the building that our lodge and a variety of other Masonic groups meets within, is having an open house and cookout. So that's going to be in Milwaukee, and it has free food. Let me say it again. Free food and completely open to the public. So what the benefit of this event is not only is it a fun opportunity for your families, there's going to be a bounce house, a variety of yard games, food and fellowship, and just a bunch of fun stuff. It's also an opportunity for you to meet and get more information, or if you know anyone interested in Freemasonry, to send them there. So essentially the public can find out about Freemasonry, and as Freemasons can find out about all the appendant bodies, and youth groups, which is the full full York Rite bodies, the Eastern Star, the Order of True Kindred, and
then Job's Daughters and Team.
Yep, and the youth groups. Yep. And so they'll all be there to answer questions, to meet and greet. So it's just going to be a really fun event, and you should think about coming by.
If you have little ones, we'll keep them entertained. There'll be a bouncy castle and some yard games out there and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to bring the kids and, have a good time. This is meant to be kind of a family event, and bring in the public and educate people about Freemasonry, or educate Masons about appendant bodies.
Yep, and it's a fun way to spend your summer. We love to see you, so come on down.
And we love good fellowship, so yeah, come on by. Let's have a good time.
Awesome. Well, that is my news and events.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, we will talk to everyone later. Have a great day.
Take care.